Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Welcome every student to this new lesson. Today we are going to take a writing lesson, and this is from Unit 4, and we're still in the first semester, and the lesson is mainly for third secondary stage. Alright, what we will learn today, as you can see, we will learn three things. Learn how to write letters expressing your opinion and stories. Number 2, identify time linkers, for example, words, phrases that indicate the sequence of events. And the third object, learn how to use the adverbs to complete the sentences. Alright, so learning how to write letters expressing your opinions and story, and also identify time linkers, word phrases that indicate a sequence of events, and learn how to use the adverbs to complete the sentence. Alright, this is warm-up page, and as you can see, 3 boys on the right hand side, and we should know what they are talking about. Do you play tricks on your friends? Why? Why not? What's the best trick you have ever played on someone or someone has ever played on you? So it's clear now this person is trying to show some tricks. Do you play tricks on your friends? Why? Why not? What is the best trick you have ever played on someone or someone has ever played on you?
Alright, writing a story. Read the rubric and the story below, then answer the questions that follow. I'm going to read for you the passage, so focus with me in order to get the meaning of the next following questions. Ammar couldn't stop laughing every time he thought about what had happened that day. He and some friends were spending a few days in Dammam, and they had decided to go camping near a beautiful beach in the area. The days had passed so quickly. During their stay, they had visited many places, including the impressive Al-Khubar water tower in the nearby town of Al-Khubar. And now it was their last day. They really wanted to make the most of it. So as soon as they woke up, they set off for the beach, and they all wanted to go fishing one last time. The day started off uneventually until they decided to stop fishing and go swimming. It was particularly hot that day. Ammar decided to join in the fun, so he jumped in the water too. He was swimming when suddenly he felt something brush against his leg. Shark! Sammy screamed, and everyone ran out of the water, leaving Ammar behind. He was so scared that he couldn't move. A few moments later, Ammar heard his friend Sammy giggling. He immediately knew that Sammy was playing another one of his tricks again, so he relaxed and started laughing. When everyone else realized that what had happened, they started chasing Sammy. Apparently, Sammy had been waiting for this or for last day to scare everyone. He had planned everything perfectly and managed to make their last day unforgettable. Of course, he also gave Ammar a scary experience to talk about. Alright, you're supposed to get the whole idea of this passage. Who scared another one? And I think you will.
Focus on task completion, style, and organization. Number 1, what did Ammar and his friends think was in the water? 2, does the writer start the story in appropriate way? Is the prompt sentence changed at all? The writer uses narrative tenses in the story. Find the underlying example of. A. An action that happened before something else in the past. An action that was taking place when it was interrupted by another action. A series of actions that happened one after another or one after the other in the past. An action that had started and continued up to a certain point in the past. And the fourth question, is the writer's style a formal or informal? Find example if it's formal or even informal in the text to justify your answers. And let's check together what is the right. So what did Ammar and his friend think was in the water? They thought that shark was in the water. Does the writer start the story in an appropriate way? Yes, she does. No, it uh, isn't, or something like that. So you should write your opinion based on what you understand in the passage. And the last question, you can see it, is the writer's style formal or informal? Informal, and because we can see couldn't, shark, scary, etc. So couldn't in the short form. All right. Writing a story. When writing a story, remember that you should try to keep plot of a story fairly simple. The story should continue from or end with a prompt sentence. The story should be organized in paragraphs, have an interesting introduction and an appropriate ending. You should use informal or consistently neutral languages. You should use past narrative tenses. You should use time linkers to indicate sequence of events, chronological order even, etc. You should try to use appropriate atmosphere by using direct speed questions, exclamation, a variety of adjectives and adverb, and vivid vocabulary. Okay, here we go with the exercise. Use the adverbs in the box to complete the sentences below. You can see luckily, occasionally, happily, obviously, cautiously, suddenly, completely. Number one, it was beautiful spring morning and the children were playing in the garden. Carl came out of the accident with only few scratches. My best friend and I don't have much time to see each other anymore, but we get together to chat and exchange news. After the climb up the mountain, we were exhausted. They vet, the vet approached the injured bear. Dennis had almost reached the top of tree when the branch broke and fell to the ground. Maria was upset and did not want to talk to us. What is the right answers? All right. Number one, happily. Two, likely. Occasionally is the right option for number three. And number four, completely. As you can see, the fifth option or the words cautiously and suddenly is the right word for number six. And the last option for seven obviously is the right word. When writing a story, just keep in mind you should write an introduction. Describe the setting of the story. Introduce the main characters. Describe feelings at the beginning of a story. And also you should write the main part, 2 or 3 paragraphs. You should describe how the story started and developed. In the conclusion part, describe the outcome of the story. Could also be included in the main part, and also make a brief comment on the story. Keep your mind this outline. Very, very important to make your story look unique. Okay, focus on time blinkers. Look at the table below. Time linkers were phrases that indicate to the sequence of events, beginning initially, first, at, first, continuing, then, next, after, this, that, afterwards, few moments later, concluding, finally, at the end. We can say also in the end, eventually, okay, others, meanwhile, the moment that, gradually, since, by the time, before, the main time, during, as soon as, until, when. Alright, so those were the time linkers. Now it's time for the assessment. Read the rubric below and make an outline, then write your story or 120 to 180 words. An international magazine is organizing a short story competition, and you have decided to take apart the competition rules. Say that the story must begin with the following words. Michael did not really like adventure, but that day he had no choice. So your job is to write a story from 120 up to 180 words about this. Um, we can say start. Michael did not really like adventure, but that day he had no choice. Keep in mind you should write an introduction, and you should write the main part, and you should write the conclusion. Alright, what we have learned today, as you can see, time linkers, beginning, continuing, concluding, others. What should we choose based on the sentences? And also in the outline, we should write the introduction and the main part and the conclusion. And we have some adverbs like luckily, occasionally, happily, obviously, cautiously, suddenly, completely. Alright, and those are the references of the lesson. This slide means we have reached to the end. Thank you for your watching. I hope you do enjoy the lesson. Hope to see you next time. Until that, goodbye for now.